Hi, everybody. How are you today? I am Kelly Coyle Crivelli from the Penguin Random House Library Marketing Team, and I am joined today by my colleague Sydney, who will introduce herself. Hi, Sid.
Hi, Kelly. I'm Sydney Check, also from the Penguin Random House Library Marketing Team, and we're really happy to be here with you today.
Yes, we are here to talk about our favorite upcoming book club books that your book clubs can put on their to read list this year. And we've got a lot of really great titles for you, so we will get right into them. And Sydney, you are up first.
Alrighty, first up, we have one of our best American writers, Lauren Groff, returning with her exhilarating first new novel since the groundbreaking Fates and Furies. Cast out of the royal court by Eleanor of Aquitaine, deemed too coarse and rough-hewn for marriage or courtly life, 17-year-old Marie de France is sent to England to be the new prioress of an impoverished abbey, its nuns on the brink of starvation and beset by disease. Equally alive to the sacred and the profane, Matrix gathers currents of violence, sensuality, and religious ecstasy in a mesmerizing portrait of a consuming passion, aberrant faith, and a woman that history moves both through and around. Lauren Groff's new novel is a defiant and timely exploration of the raw power of female creativity in a corrupted world. The Washington Post quotes, even from her impossibly high starting point, Lauren Groff just keeps getting better and better. So we're very excited for this title.
She does keep getting better and better, and
Yeah.
I don't blame people for wanting to put this on their book club list. Next up is we know that book clubs love talking about historical fiction, and not that you should judge a book by its cover, but if you're going to judge a book by its cover, this one is definitely going to be one to pick up. But this cover is so beautiful, and this is from the author of Stirred Up, Brianne Moore. This is a book that will appeal to fans of Pam Jenoff and Jennifer Robson, as well as Beatrice Williams. And this is a really fun book that's going to have a lot to talk about. It's set in the 1930s in England. It's about a young firebrand who finds herself on a fraught and dangerous road to independence. In 1931 England, Astra Davies defies all the conventions. She's clever, witty, and determined. Astra smokes, drinks, plays a mean piano, and gallivants around London with her beloved Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. She sounds very fun. But Astra finds herself in a tight spot when her parents die suddenly, leaving her with a raft of debts. With a few marketable skills and a closet full of family secrets, Astra has only two choices. She can find a rich husband or make her own way. A fiercely driven woman like Astra is not about to cast her lot with a man, especially out of desperation. And since the only man she fancies, Jeremy Harris, the Earl of Dunraven, is as hard up as she is, her way forward is clear. But the path to independence is a bumpy one fraught with hazards and heartbreaking choices. A blackmailing socialite threatens to derail Astra's reputation. A brainless business partner just might drive her further into debt. And a series of bruising scandals dogs her every step of the way. From the bustle of London to the country estates of the aristocracy, Astra embarks on a journey that tests her brains, wit, and mettle as never before. But one way or another, Astra Davies is dead set on proving that she's no bright young thing. That's what sounds so fun.
It does. Next up, we have Beautiful Country, a memoir from Chia Jie Wang, perfect for readers of Educated, The Glass Castle, and Angela's Ashes. In Chinese, the words for America, Mei Gua, translates directly to beautiful country. Yet when 7-year-old Qian arrives in New York City in 1994, she's overwhelmed by crushing fear and scarcity. In China, Qian's parents were professors. In America, her family is illegal and will require all the determination and small joys they can muster to survive. In Chinatown, Qian's parents work in sweatshops and sushi factories. Instead of laughing at her jokes or watching her sing and dance, they fight constantly. Qian goes to school hungry, where she teaches herself English through library books, her only source of comfort. At home, Qian's headstrong and resilient mama ignores her own pain until she's unable to stand, too afraid of the cost and attention a hospital visit might bring. And yet, young Qian, now acting as her mother's nurse, her family's translator, a student, and a worker, cannot ask for help. The number one rule in America still stands: to be noticed is to risk losing everything. Searing and unforgettable, Beautiful Country is an essential American story about a family fracturing under the weight of invisibility and a girl coming of age in the shadows who never stops seeking the light.
I've been on a memoir kick lately. This sounds really good.
This is very powerful. I heard her speak
Yeah, and a
about it.
lot to
She's
talk about.
very excited for what's to come.
Yeah. The next book we're also really excited to share with you is for fans of book clubs that loved Queenie and Americana. And this is Sankofa. Girl, woman, other meets an American marriage in this gripping story of a mixed race woman who goes in search of her African father she never knew. Masterful in its examination of freedom, prejudice, and personal and public inheritance, Sankofa is a story for anyone who has ever gone looking for a clear identity or home and found something more complex in its place. Anna is at a stage in her life when she's beginning to wonder who she really is. She has separated from her husband, her daughter is all grown up, and her mother, the only parent who raised her, is dead. Searching through her mother's belongings one day, Anna finds clues about the African father she never knew. His student diaries chronicle his involvement in radical politics in 1970s London. Anna discovers that he eventually became the president, some would say dictator, of a small nation in West Africa, and he is still alive. When Anna decides to track down her father, a journey begins that is disarmingly moving, funny, and fascinating. Like the metaphorical bird that gives the novel this name, Sankofa expresses the importance of reaching back to knowledge gained in the past and bringing it into the present to address universal questions of race and belonging. The overseas experience for the American diaspora and the search for a family's hidden roots. So a lot to talk about in this beautiful book with this gorgeous cover as well.
Beautiful cover.
Isn't it? I love it.
Right, next we have best-selling Swedish author Alex Schulman making his international debut with his fifth novel, Survivors. In the wake of their mother's death, three estranged brothers return to the lakeside cottage where, over 2 decades before, an unspeakable accident forever altered their family. There's Nils, the oldest, who couldn't escape his suffocating home soon enough. Pierre, the youngest, easily bullied and quick to lash out. And then there's Benjamin, always the family's nerve center, perpetually on the lookout for triggers and trap doors in a volatile home where the children were left to fend for themselves, competing for their father's favor and their mother's elusive love. In a thrillingly fast-paced narrative, The Survivors mixes the emotional acuity of Edward St. Aubyn, the literary verve of Ian McEwan, and the heart of Shuggie Bain. By brilliantly dissecting a mind unraveling in the wake of tragedy, Alex Schulman reveals the ways in which our deepest loyalties leave us open to the greatest betrayals. Dun dun dun.
That's good. And I remember it says for book clubs that love the dinner. I remember doing the book club, a book club for the dinner, and it becoming like this explosive, very long conversation. So that would be those are the fun ones. So next for me is an author that needs no introduction. O. William. I know that some of you have heard of Elizabeth Strout, and this is another book from her that will not disappoint. The author Anne Patchett, who we all adore, has said of this book, Elizabeth Strout is one of my very favorite writers. So the fact that O. William may be my favorite of her books is a mathematical equation for joy. The depth, complexity, and love contained in these pages is a miraculous achievement. That is one of my favorite reviews I've read in a really long time. So I would like to say a few things about my first husband, William. Lucy Barton is a writer, but her ex-husband, William, remains a hard man to read. William, she confesses, has always been a mystery to me. Another mystery why the two have remained connected after all these years, but they just are. So Lucy is both surprised and not surprised when William asks her to join him on a trip to investigate a recent uncovered family secret. One of those secrets that rearrange everything we think we know about the people closest to us. What happens next is nothing less than another example of what Hilary Mantel has called Elizabeth Strout's perfect attunement to the human condition. There are fears and insecurities, simple joys and acts of tenderness, and revelation about affairs and other spouses, parents and their children. On every page of this exquisite novel, we learn more about the quiet force that holds us all together, even after we've grown apart. At the heart of this story is the indomitable voice of Lucy Barton, who offers a profound, lasting reflection of the very nature of existence. This is the way of life, Lucy says, the many things we do not know until it is too late. I love Elizabeth Strout. I really do.
And last up for me, we have The Family by Naomi Krupitsky, and this novel is for book clubs and readers that love Elena Ferrante, Jacqueline Woodson, and Amor Towles. Sophia Colicchio is a free spirit, loud and untamed. Antonia Russo is a thoughtful, ever observing the world around her. Best friends since birth, they live in the shadow of their father's unspoken community, the family. Sunday dinners gather them each week to feast, discuss business, and renew the intoxicating bond born of blood and love. But the disappearance of Antonia's father drives a whisper-thin wedge between the girls as they grow into women, wives, mothers, and leaders. Their hearts expand in tandem with Red Hook and Brooklyn around them as they push against the boundaries of society's expectations and fight to preserve the complex but life-sustaining friendship. One fateful night, their loyalty to each other and the family will be tested. Only one of them can pull the trigger before it's too late. This novel is ideal for book clubs to dissect and analyze the complicated bonds of female friendship, marriage, and family secrets, as well as the pressure placed on women in history to conform to a certain mold, and how that conformity changes a person, not to mention charting the history of one of New York's most infamous boroughs. Diane Chamberlain, author of Big Lies in a Small Town, quotes, "It's been a long time since I've stayed up all night to read a book. Krupitsky has created a riveting story, powerful in its realism." So we're very excited for this debut.
I'm getting distracted by all the books I want to read. That does sound good. My gosh. And last up is a book club favorite, Jodi Picoult. She has a new book coming out, Wish You Were Here, kind of one of those ripped from the headlines type of books. She is, this time, it's a deeply moving novel about the resilience of the human spirit in a moment of crisis, a crisis that all of us might feel seems very familiar to us. So Diana O'Toole is perfectly on track. She will be married by 30, done having kids by 35, and move out to the New York City suburbs, all while climbing the professional ladder in the cutthroat art auction world. She's an associate specialist at Sotheby's now, but her boss has hinted at a promotion if she can close a deal with a high-profile client. She's not engaged just yet, but she knows her boyfriend Finn, a surgical resident, is about to propose on their romantic getaway to Galapagos, days before her 30th birthday, right on time. And we know what happens when everything's going so well. Something always happens that makes it not go so well. So in real life and in this book, a virus that felt worlds away has appeared in the city. And on the eve of their departure, Finn breaks the news. It's all hands on deck at the hospital, and he has to stay behind. But he says you should still go and assures her that it would be a shame for their non-refundable trip to go to waste. And so reluctantly, she leaves without him. Almost immediately, Diana's dream vacation goes awry. Her luggage is lost, the Wi-Fi is nearly non-existent, and the hotel they booked is shut down due to the pandemic. In fact, the whole island is now under quarantine, and she is stranded until the borders reopen. Completely isolated, she must venture beyond her comfort zone. Slowly, she carves out a connection with a local family when a teenager with a secret opens up to Diana, despite her father's suspicion of outsiders. In the Galapagos Islands, where Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection was formed, Diana finds herself examining her relationships, her choices, and herself, and wondering if when she gets home, she too will have evolved into something and someone completely different. So perfect book club fodder. And I feel like the overarching theme of all these books might be secrets.
I can get on that as well. So we're so glad we were able to present these titles to you today. And if you're looking for more book club resources from us, we have a plentiful amount on our issue page, from book club kits, book club brochures, and different handouts with more book club information you can access. So if you just use our link issue.com/prhlibrary/stacks, you'll be able to find all this information online. You can download it to your own computer or phone. So it's a great resource, and make sure you check it out if you're interested.
And once again, we thank you for joining us online for this virtual book buzz. We hope that your book clubs are all ready to start reading at the end of the year and right into 2022. And we hope that we offered you some great selections for today. Have a great day. By any chance, if you need us, you could always reach us at library@penguinrandomhouse.com. Thank you, and thank you for joining me, Sydney.
Thanks. Good to see you. Bye.
Bye.